so much, Mr. Speaker, sir. First and foremost, I would like to extend my thanks to your esteemed office, as you have been clubbing this very important subject together, as it is purely relevant and very similar with the subject brought by moved by the mover, Bardhan Milavasamut, Honorable Member from Nongrum. My subject, as I had stated, this House to now discuss the subject of the urgent need for a statewide anti-drugs emergency in view of the rampant and alarming rise in drugs trafficking, addiction, and threat to children and youth in Meghalaya. Sir, let me remind the House that this subject is very common issue, and we are facing the subject as an affected, as it had been affected the whole state. So it is the call for each and everyone, a mass participation. It's not just by being satisfied, looking or satisfying, seeing by one section or from the police department or from the NGOs or from any section of the communities, but it is the mass participation. Therefore, sir, it will be more benefiting, sir, that this very subject, it will not be just a mere thinking, talking and bringing about development in the state, if at the same time our society, especially our youth, is being destroyed and consumed by numerous forms of evils, the most dangerous of which is drugs. What future does our state have if our youth are already lost? According to a report by the government presented 7 months ago in this August House, it was stated that there are over 3 lakhs individuals, mostly youth, who have used various kinds of intoxicating substances, and most likely this number has only increased since then. We can see that our state today is overwhelmed by news related only to drugs, whether it's on social media, in newspapers, or in public discussion. Crimes, immoral acts, and dangerous incidents are rising rapidly. Heinous activities are increasing every single day, to the point where parents are now afraid for the safety of their children. There is no longer peace or security in our communities. We fear the day might come when it will no longer be possible to control this menace, whether it's from those who consume and use drugs or from those who deal and traffic them. It may even reach a point where the government is left with no choice but to issue a shoot at sight order against such individual, like what had happened in Philippines in 2016-17, or to impose life imprisonment. Sir, our prison and shelters home are filled with young people and minors arrested for crimes, either directly or indirectly, connected to drugs use. Rehabilitation centers, the addiction facilities and treatment centers are overflowing with people who wish to quit these harmful substances. Parents cry in despair, afraid of what might happen to their children, because everywhere they turn, there is only danger. Cases of HIV and hepatitis C are also on the rise, especially among those who use or inject drugs through the sharing of same needles or syringe. Let me repeat again. Cases of HIV and hepatitis C are also on the rise, especially among those who use or inject drugs through the sharing of same needles or syringe. What have we really done? Let us ask whether we have done correctly or righteously in performing our duties and responsibilities. Sir, we know that the drugs consumed and used by our children and youth are not produced within a state. They are brought in from other states and countries. We should immediately stop the inflow. The government should give a special focusing and concentrating to stop the supply. Once we could stop the supply, I believe the demand will subside and full of the dream will come true. We know that the drugs consumed and used by our children and youth are not produced within a state. This is the fact that no one can deny. We have seen that the police have been working tirelessly day and night to gather intelligence, conduct raids, and arrest those who traffic these illegal substances. However, it is disheartening and even insulting to see that the very people they work hard to arrest are released within just few days and then walk proudly in the streets. This discourages the police and make them lose morale and motivation in the work. So, yes, we see that there are awareness programs being conducted by various organizations and groups. Some are supported by the government, but many of them are self-funded. The question is, our awareness program alone is enough? Local NGOs who work tirelessly and courageously in fighting drugs and helping our fellow citizens who are trapped in addiction are struggling like a fight of a losing war. A fight as if between a lion and a mouse. Many of them receive no financial assistance from the government, central or state, and those who do report facing major difficulties like delays, irregularities in fund release, and bureaucratic procedures. What can we do? What things need to be done? So, it is time to strictly monitor all entry and exit points of the state by deploying modern technologies such as ion mobility spectrometry, IMS, devices, handheld narcotics analyzer, fibroscopes, X-ray scanners, GPS tracking tools, and deploying canine dog squads to check everyone entering the state, whether on foot or in vehicles, public, private, or even army and parliamentary vehicles, because there have been cases where even personnel from the armed forces have been involved in drugs trafficking. These checks must be conducted 24/7. So, if we can block the inflow of drugs into the state, it will force the addicts to seek help and treatment. Only then can we assist them through OST, oral substitution therapy, or other medical treatment. We saw how during the COVID-19 pandemic, the government helped many villages set up their own quarantine camp and center. Why can't the same be done in tackling this issue? So why doesn't the government encourage and assist villages in organizing communities detoxification programs where village authorities can call and encourage all drugs users to come forward and voluntarily attend detox camp? In these camps, the government can simply provide doctors, nurses, and essential medication needed for treatment as well as financial requirement. So, such detox programs must involve collaboration between the Darbar Chhnau, village council, police, communities, organization, faith-based group, and especially NGOs. Working with drugs user along with support from law enforcement and health department. It is also time for the government to establish task force at the district block and village level. These task force must include all stakeholders focusing on both rehabilitation and prevention. So we have the NDPS Act, but is it sufficient in the context of a state? Do we need a specific state law or at least an improved and stricter implementation of the Meghalaya Drugs Abuse Prevention Policy 2020? Perhaps if we had our own state level law, we could impose harsher punishment on dealers and peddlers, which would lightly reduce drugs trafficking. Addicts would also hesitate before becoming peddlers, themselves a common pattern as many users eventually turn into sellers to fund their addiction. So it is also time for the government to establish government-run rehabilitation center in every district and to provide financial assistance to individuals or groups who want to open such centers. Currently, many families are forced to send their loved ones outside the state for treatment. We have seen how our youth are treated in these centers located outside Meghalaya, often in unfamiliar and unfriendly environments. So we also witness how a youth organization from one locality in Shillong stood up and threatened drugs users and peddlers. What drove them to take such extreme action? Is it the result of government failure and inaction? We fear this may spread to other localities where people may take the law into their own hands. And when that happens, law and order will collapse across the entire state. The world has already accepted that addiction is a disease, and a relapsing is high possibility. Therefore, we must understand that our fellow citizens who are addicted require specialized and long-term treatment, not just a one-time intervention. There must be regular follow-up, continuous support, and mental and emotional care until they fully regain their strength and stability. So, we also observe that many youths relapse even after rehabilitation. Why? Because they receive no support afterward. There are very few recreational activities, and most of them lack employment opportunities. As a result, they fall back into the trap of addiction. Hence, there must be sufficient recreational activities and especially vocational training so that they can stand on their own feet after recovery. I almost come to a conclusion. Lastly, topics like drugs abuse, early teenage pregnancy, and misuse of social media, mobile phones must be made mandatory, conducting offline and online classes. In all schools and colleges to spread awareness and protect our children and youth from these dangerous and harmful behaviors that arise from misuse. So before I conclude, let me put a clear remark, a clear message by this present government of the day. Let it be a clear message sending to our beloved state that this government will not spare, and there will be no zero tolerance even of small possession of small quantities. With these very few words, sir, I would like to submit my submission before you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.